Welcome to another Physics of Shuffling. This is a shuffling tutorial where I use physics knowledge to aid people in learning this style of dance. Today I will be covering 3 beginner shuffling moves. One is drifting in the running man, one is the V-step, a move that will aid you in learning your T-step, and the stagger, which is a variation on the running man. For our physics, I will be covering center of mass, and we will see how the center of mass plays in these moves I just mentioned. But first, I'm going to show you a clip that I recorded of myself using these moves that I am going to teach you later in the video. Here's that clip now. But first, we should talk about the physics. So today we're talking about the center of mass. The center of mass is all about an approximation of taking all of the mass that could be in an object or a body and reducing it down to a single point, which makes it easy to work with, rather than all of this other stuff that we would have to calculate if we were going to do that. The math can actually get pretty complicated pretty quickly when you're calculating something like the center of mass for some body that is relatively complicated, kind of like a human body. We have all this stuff. Now for pretty much all humans, our center of mass is about right here, just a little bit above our belly button. Now we're going to be using and looking at where my center of mass is, and that's going to actually cause me to move in certain different ways. Also, when your center of mass is directly above both your feet and your feet are evenly spread apart, basically you're going to be putting even amount of pressure on your 2 feet. And depending on how much pressure is on one foot will also help you do certain shuffling moves. Even before we get into it, we may already see that the center of mass is important for that drifting move that we use in the running man, right? Like if I start to lean one way, I will start to fall that way. Same thing if I lean this way, right? It doesn't matter which way I lean. You can actually probably already guess how the running man and how people sometimes drift from one side to the other or forward and backwards. If you stay in one place, your center of mass is directly above your feet the entire time. If you shift that center of mass by shifting your upper body forward a little bit or to one side or to the other side, you will start to drift towards that side. Simple, right? So here I'm going to demonstrate your balance being in the center and you not moving. Now, going to lean forward. We can see that I start to drift forward. Now I'll lean backwards slightly and I'll drift backwards. Again, I'm going to do it with my center of mass directly over so that way I don't move. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to lean slightly to one side and we'll see that I'll start to drift that way. And guess what? If we lean the other way, I also drift that way. Now I'm going to do something called the V-step, because your feet looks like a V when you start. There we go. I really think that this move is great at teaching you that foot twisting motion that you need for the T-step. And this can be its own move in its own right. But if you want to get good at the T-step, you just have to practice doing the T-step. Lastly, we have the stutter, which is a running man move. You start off in that first position, you slide back to 2, but then you go back to the original 1, so your feet don't continue the running man itself. All right, so there we have 3 new moves that we can work with. One thing that I would also like to mention is that your center of mass should be directly above your feet when you do the V-step and doing the stagger or the stutter for the running man. So the idea of the center of mass causing the drifting in the running man is only half of the physics story. The other half is this concept called torque. Now I'm going to explore torque in my next video. We're also going to see how torque can help you with spinning. If you feel like this video helped you learn some new moves, or if you just learned a new concept like the center of mass, hit that like and subscribe button. To end, I'm going to show the rest of that clip that I showed at the beginning of the video where I showcased the moves that we learned, because I felt like it was cut off right before the drop happened. So here's the rest of that clip if you need a little bit of closure.